If you would like to purchase this product, use the product link in the description below. It will help support our channel. Or you can support us on patreon.com/simplyhamradio. Thank you. I got the LDG Z100Plus. I got this through cheapham.com. If you never ordered through cheapham.com, you're missing out. You don't know what you're doing. His prices, shipping prices are based upon the item value. Even his item values are lower than what you're going to get it at, say, HRO or Gigapart, something like that. So it's definitely worth checking out. And the difference in shipping is still below what you're going to get it. So anyways, I ordered this with the ICOM separation cable. And of course, you get the famous cheapham.com pen. I once had 25 or 30 of these for 25 or 30 orders. But anyways, they've all dried up in the last 15 years. And guess I haven't placed an order in a couple years, but I got another one for a logbook. Anyways, let's open up the Z100 Plus. It's supposed to be 5 inches by 5 inches or thereabouts, 5.5 by 5.5 by 1.5 high. This is basic, no thrills, 160 through 6 meters tuners, and this is going to mount directly on the bottom of my 706 Mark II-G in the truck. So let's proceed. Here we go. We got the tuner, got the manual. I'll set that aside. They give you a power cable because this is a universal tuner. It will work with a multitude of radios without interface cables and things like that. So let's get it out of the bubble wrap. There's my hand over top of it. Shows you how small the tuner actually is. There we go. No thrills. Tune button. SWR is tuned. It's tuning. Small little metal case. Rubber feet in case you're going to mount it on like a desk to stand on top of your radio. Antenna out, transmitter in, the power, the radio interface, and the ground. I always recommend using your ground. So does LDG. In my truck, I have a ground that comes off the frame underneath my seat, goes to the tuner, and then there's a little jumper about 8 or 9 inches, and another lug terminal that goes to my radio. So hooking that up will be the challenge on the back of the radio, but this is by far the smallest tuner I've ever got from LDG. This thing is small. 5.5 by 5.5 by 1.5. Most of the other ones, the IT100 or the AT7000, the original one I bought, were probably the same base size as the bottom of the radios. I did have the LDG AT600 Pro 2 once. That was a phenomenal tuner. But if you know the cable that I'm talking about, it's a DIN cable LDG used to use, and it has a silver band that slides in and holds a friction fit. When those get loose or they get worn, the cable falls out of the back of the tuner. This tuner, interface cable, you can see that there, just uses a stereo plug. So my hopes is that the stereo plug, you know how a stereo plug locks in and stays tight unless you pull on it, will not vibrate out, will not come loose, will not fall out from accidental vibrations going up and down the road. That was a problem with the AT7000 as well as the IT100 and my AT600 Pro 2. Just sitting on the desk, a shelf above the amplifier, the cable used to fall out of the back of the tuner, and I would lose lock and say, what the hell's going on? Just a piss poor design, so I'm glad to see that LDG is actually using the stereo plugs. Here's an old coaxial jumper cable that came with an LDG tuner, my AT7000, but since the early 2004, 2005 when I bought that LDG AT7000, LDG no longer gives you a coaxial jumper. They leave it up to you to supply your jumper. I think that's shameful. You know, it was such a good item, made such a good worthy value, and my only complaint is now if you got to get a hold of LDG, you can't just call, leave a voicemail and talk to the owner when he calls you back. You have to go through this whole email process and hope and pray that they get back to you in a week or two. Was my last experience. So anyways, here's the tuner, there's the coax. I'm going to run a couple strips of 3M adhesive, molding adhesive down the top of this. This is going to stick to the bottom of my 706 Mark IIG, and on my Mark IIG, so it doesn't scratch it up, I put 2 runs of packaging tape, clear packaging tape down through it, so it makes it easy removal if I ever want to take this stuff off, and then it doesn't rip the paint and dent it or anything. So that's my little trick. So got to find my 3M adhesive, and then we'll get this out to the truck and hook it up and interface it to the radio. Test it out, see what we get out of it. Okay, we got it mounted to the bottom of the radio. As you can see, I got some packaging tape on the cover so it doesn't stick, but it'll hold. It's not going to peel off. It's right there. Yeah, so 706 has seen better days. Get a ferrite bead on the separation cable so it doesn't lose lock. And there you go. Let's tune it up and see what happens. Okay, let's tune up. Got a 12.5 foot whip. CQ, 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 CQ. AA1PR, Alpha Alpha 1, Papa Radio 50.125. Anyone out there to copy? Okay, gonna try to tune my 6.5 foot or 12.5 foot whip on 6 meters. Light goes out. Alpha. No, see, got no power output. Oops, no power output. AA